Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com. Hey accountants, it's time to grow your capacity, not your head count. Introducing Bill, the AI-powered, exception-based AP solution that automates tedious work and simplifies your tech stack. Whether it's managing domestic and global payments or syncing receipts through deep integrations, Bill eliminates manual tasks so your team can focus on strategic client success. Join over 9,000 firms who trust Bill to gain better visibility and control. Get started at bill.com/grow. Take a demo and you'll get a $250 gift card. Terms apply.
If you work with entrepreneurs, you already know that money problems rarely stay in one category. Personal finances bleed into business decisions, leadership, confidence, and risk tolerance, even when the business is itself solid. That's why we created the Certified Money Habit Mentor designation. Yes, this is based on the Money Habit, Mike's newest book. This certification authorizes financial professionals to guide clients using a simple behavioral bank balance system for personal finance, AKA Profit First. It's designed for professionals who want to help clients feel calm, clear, in control of their money, especially when personal finances and business finances overlap. Applications are now open. They're limited. Be one of the first to grab your Certified Money Habit spots. Apply now, moneyhabitmentors.com. Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Liz Sporn, a guide here at Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike Michalowicz, author of Profit First. And guess what? You're listening to GMAP, stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. We are here to teach you the step-by-step on exactly that, how to grow your practice if you're a bookkeeper, if you're an accountant, or a coach.
Awesome, guys. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on any podcatcher out there. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Liz.
How's it going?
Very good. How about that move last week?
Oh, you mean the move that was canceled due to snow? It was great. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
We are, all you listeners, we're moving offices, which is a big deal. And I moved all of my stuff and I have exactly one box. The rest is Ron's. So
really?
I only have one box. It was the blue Profit First box. That's it. That's all I got.
Wow.
Yeah. The rest is your stuff.
Yeah. So we have a coordinated move, right? Lining it up for months. And then guess what? Mother Nature in a blizzard comes to town and they say,
the blizzard says, here we go. And then the Booton Township says, we'll get to it later. So we'll see. I'm going to cross my fingers for next Friday. Yeah, but we did go over there and hang out. We hung out with Andrea today, and they had a nice welcome basket and a gift and posters, and it was really, they're being very, very welcoming for us to infringe on their space. Super nice. Well,
moving, there's trauma when you move. There's trauma when you're moving into a new place for the people that are already existing there, especially because we're kind of merging two companies into it. So I think this is going to be a nice segue into today's guest.
Yeah, I think it's great. I do think it's going to be exciting, but this is more exciting. Today, fair listeners, we are interviewing Dr. Don Wood. We are thrilled to have him on the show because he is the founder and the CEO of the Inspired Performance Institute. Dr. Wood is the creator of the patented TIPP or TIP method and the author of Emotional Concussions. He's worked with elite athletes and high-level executives to reset their mind for optimal performance. Today, we're exploring how atmospheric conditions, which is not Mercury in retrograde. I just asked. That's not. So just, so you know. And trauma resolution can lead to measurable gains in your business productivity. And without further ado, Dr. Wood, welcome.
Oh, my.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So happy to have you.
Me too. And I can't wait. So the first question, let's just get right out of the gate.
Get right into it.
Yeah. Right
Dive
into
in.
It. How does trauma affect us in our normal and business life?
Trauma is relative to different people, but trauma is constantly filtering through your mind. So your mind is survival based. Any threats to it, it continues to hold that trauma and use it as an experience to decide on how it responds to what's going on now. And the problem is that trauma is stored in high definition, very bright, very intense, because all your senses are heightened. So when you experience it in real time, your sight, sound, smell are all heightened. And so it records it in high definition. And then it continues to operate. So what I always say is the brain is survival based, but it takes an intervention to come in and fix the brain. The brain doesn't really do a very good job of healing itself. So all of your experiences, what I call atmospheric conditions, will dictate how you're going to operate in the present because your subconscious mind is fully present. It only understands now. It doesn't relate to time. It's only the conscious mind that can think of time. But the subconscious controls 95% of everything. So if there's a survival threat, it will override the reasonable, logical, conscious part of the mind and then use your atmospheric conditions to reply to the situation.
Dude.
So
Wow.
that's a simple explanation on how trauma
Yeah,
works.
no. I mean,
Super simple.
I love it, and this trauma being in HD, constantly at the forefront of our waking beings, is going to affect our judgment, our decision making, our risk tolerances, our actions. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
Good. This is already so juicy. I would like to talk a little bit more about what you see, knowing that you work with CEOs and business owners. What are some of the ways that when somebody who's listening to this is saying, "Oh, I don't think that's me," what are some ways that these the atmospheric conditions, or as you call them, the emotional concussions, play out in the day to day? You know, Ron gave a couple
Yeah.
examples, but what are people coming to you with?
The Emotional Concussions is the second book I wrote on not everything is a big T trauma. There are small, what is called small T trauma, but I refer to them as emotional concussions because they don't necessarily, people say to me, well, I don't have any trauma, but they had a series of emotional concussions. And
Mm,
that's the coach that didn't tell you you're good enough, the teacher that told you you're stupid, all of those little things add up.
Yeah.
And then when you go to do something, your mind recalls that information and it causes you to hesitate or maybe to avoid that problem. And so when people say to me, I sabotage myself all the time, I say it's impossible to sabotage yourself. Get rid of that word. Your mind is survival based. It will avoid a potential threat and create a diversion to go another way. So when people say, oh, I sabotage my business because I do these bad things, what their mind is doing is taking another route and then trying to avoid the pain that it sees coming.
okay.
Yes.
So is there a possibility for us to pull the wool over our own eyes and mask our trauma, that is in a way that everybody sees it, but we don't? Are there telltale signs that we might be experiencing trauma?
The best way I can describe it is anytime you have an emotion, a feeling, or a sensation, your mind is calling for an action. The purpose of fear is to
Wow.
escape a threat. The purpose of anger is to attack a threat. So if there's a current threat, it makes sense to have an emotion. If you think about something that happened to you 20 years ago and you still feel the emotion, it's a glitch. It's the mind is looking at the old data in real time.
Mm,
And so the only way to correct that is to
wow.
go in and do an intervention
Yeah.
because the brain doesn't heal itself. It heals every other part of the body, but it won't heal itself. So you go in and do an intervention and take that memory at a high definition and reprocess it into low definition, and then it no longer calls for the emotion.
Okay. Thanks for dumbing it down. No,
It's really that simple.
I do.
It's
What I
beautiful.
love is this. I mean, you said if there's fear, we're trying to escape. If there's anger, we want to attack. To me, that was just so right. It's fight or flight, which I know, but I love looking at how simple those responses are. And just thank you for the line of we're our mind is survival based. And I love that. But
It's
that's a
so
game
true.
changer for me. Yeah.
It's so true because the brain isn't going to ever try to hurt you. It's always going to protect you. So when people say I sabotage myself, that's assuming that they're thinking that they're deliberately doing it, right? But they're not. They're just conditioned to deliver it that way. And
They can't
so
break the cycle.
they can't break the cycle unless you go in and do something that changes the way the mind works. And then it will work. Your brain will do whatever you want it to do. You just have to train it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Liz, you said, is there a way to train it to lead into the trauma versus to fix the glitch?
Well, you want to, a lot of people know they have trauma, right? And then we just look at 2 or 3 events and we clear those up, and then the mind starts clearing everything else.
Got it.
So the body and brain are designed to heal. We're designed to heal, right? What interferes with the healing is the trauma. And the trauma keeps looping because it's seen in real time. So people who have had trauma from 10 years ago are going to still be affected today.
Yeah.
What are some methods that we can try, to alleviate some of this? Are there methods?
Well, there's several trauma processes, and some of them are very, very good, but they take a long time. So traditional therapy is not very good at trauma. They're good at dealing with current problems, but dealing with trauma is difficult because it takes a certain period of time to clear trauma at the way the traditional way does it. And it can take years. So this is the most effective and fast what we developed. And so what I've done is developed a very quick protocol that clears trauma in 4 hours.
And this is the TIP method.
The TIP method, yeah. And the reason most people don't get into that state is you have to be in an alpha brainwave state, alpha theta. That's the processing state. But when you go into traditional trauma therapy, you're in for an hour approximately. You never get into that state. And so you're dealing with trauma in the same state that you experienced it. And so what I do is I spend 2 hours giving you all the science and education. I don't even talk about trauma for the first 2 hours. I say, here's how the mind works. Here's what's happening to your mind. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your mind. By the time we get 2 hours into that, they're so relaxed and focused that the brain is optimized to heal. And then we work on the trauma and it just heals it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit of some of what the TIP method actually is? Does it stand for something?
Well, TIP stands for the Inspired Performance Program, but it's TIP. Okay. The idea is to get you to the tip, your peak of performance.
Yeah.
So it's a combination.
Amazing. I have a question. I want to shift a little bit. Many of our listeners are in the throes of the tax season. And this is we're going to call it an annual trauma that many of them go through, in that they are, again, facing 20-hour days, overworked for not enough. They didn't raise prices. They didn't hire somebody. They had to fire somebody. Like it's exhausting. And we watch it, and it's hard to watch as a coach. And it's hard to watch as somebody who's, you see what they're doing. You could have these conversations to say, you told me last year you didn't want to do this. Why are we still here? Whatever, all the things that we would do. So that said, many people will use, anxiety almost as a throwaway word, or say I'm having an anxiety attack or whatever. But are there ways that when you're looking at people who are feeling high levels of anxiety for a situation, a season, whatever, that we can help them either stop the panic attacks or manage them differently? in regards to performance professionally?
The key is to keep the nervous system regulated, to
Good.
keep it balanced, because you perform at your best when you're calm. You don't perform your best when you're rattled. So you have to train. First, you have to get rid of the trauma that created it. So the trauma that creates anxiety and depression, all those things are symptoms. They're not the problem. So people come in and they say, "Oh, I have anxiety. I'm a very anxious person." What I say is, why are you an anxious person? Let's get to the root cause of it, because you're never supposed to perform at your highest level when you have anxiety. And so the reason you want to get rid of anxiety is to balance the nervous system and allows you to operate very calm. And so you can work 20-hour days calm, and then you're going to perform at your best. So you're going to get a lot more work done when you're not rattled. So I always give the analogy of Sully Sullenberg. Remember the pilot who landed the plane in the river?
Yeah. Yeah.
The most remarkable part of the story is not how he landed the plane in the river. What he did is he was so calm. So when he communicated to his crew members what he was going to do, and then he communicated to the passengers what he was going to do, they calmed down. Then all he had to do was land the plane. So if he had been focused on them, he's not going to focus on the plane, and he's going to be worried about them all the time. So once he calmed them down, then he just has to focus. And the precision that it took to do that is incredible. He can't do that if he's rattled, if he's not calm.
It's amazing.
Yep.
I was also thinking about this, the Olympics just ended, and did you see the ice skater Alyssa Liu?
Yeah.
And her story and how she was like, this isn't fun. I'm stressed out all the time. I feel sick all the time. Took that time off, centered herself, and watching that girl work through her trauma. It was stunning to watch her just out there having fun, being precise, being precision. I bet she did some trauma work.
She probably did, or she learned how to calm down her nervous system, because that's really the key to it. And people who do it actually has a tremendous effect on the body. So people who have, like in athletes, for example, what I say is if you have unresolved trauma, it's going to affect the mitochondria. That's the energy in the cell. So if your ultimate goal is to have 100% of your energy when you're doing something, how much of that energy gets drained away by the trauma loop that you don't even know about? And people will tell me when they think about it, they'll go 50%, 80% is being drained away. So now, as a professional, if they're an accountant or whatever, as a professional, you're operating with 50% power. How good are you going to perform? And all of that trauma is operating on a subconscious level. You don't think it's bothering you, but it is. And it shows up in anxiety. It shows up in health problems. In 1997, the CDC and Kaiser Permanente did a study on childhood trauma called ACEs. And ACEs stand for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And what they did is they said, how many people have had these 10 different ACEs? And they talked about emotional abuse, sexual abuse, emotional neglect, witnessing your mother being treated violently. There were 10 questions. Of the 10 questions, how many do you answer? And whenever I see people are coming in with 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10.
Oof.
And they wonder why they're not performing at their highest level. Well, your brain doesn't forget that. And it's constantly filtering through those experiences to protect you. And then anything that looks like that kind of a danger is going to protect you from it. So of course, it's going to slow you down. You may not make a good decision. You may make a bad decision, or you may delay or turn down an opportunity that was a good job opportunity or a good business opportunity because you were afraid.
Yeah.
This kind of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it almost sounds like a functioning alcoholic if somebody's been doing this all their life and running a successful business and career with all this trauma. Is that a reasonable comparison? Is rebooting your anxiety and your trauma something very similar to getting clean and sober?
It is like addiction is just a symptom.
Right.
Like people
Right.
have
Okay.
pain, right? And so the addiction is just a form of trauma. So they've had pain and they found a way to solve the pain. So I have a totally different approach to addiction.
I was
I
going to
say,
say, so you do not think it's a disease then?
oh
This is
no,
a
not
big,
at
yeah,
all.
this is a big, bold statement. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
It's not a disease, it's a
Okay.
code. Now accountants
Oh,
get this. They get it.
mm-hmm.
If your computer, think of your computer or think of your brain as a computer. The mind is the software. Whatever you program into that computer, it just accepts. It doesn't say, oh, that's not a good thing to type in, or don't type that in. Have you ever had Excel or anything tell you it's not a
Yes.
good code? Never.
Yes.
It just accepts it. So
Correct.
all of these conditions in your life, it just accepts it, doesn't judge it, doesn't see anything as good, bad, right, or wrong. And so then that creates pain. You want to find a solution to the pain, and you find a drug or you find alcohol. So you start taking that. Then what's happening is you're building up a code. And then next time you get into that pain, it goes, what do we do about this pain? Oh, yeah, we have that alcohol. Oh, yeah, we have that alcohol. And the longer you stretch that out, it just builds a code and it operates from codes. Your brain operates from codes, and addiction is a code.
Amazing.
Yeah, I could see
Uh,
that. And then you got to break the code. You got to get
yep.
in there and reprogram it, right?
Well,
Yep.
the first thing you have to do is get rid of the trauma that caused
Trauma.
the code.
Right.
The reboot.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
right. Right.
And then work on the codes, which is just training the brain, right, that it doesn't need the code anymore. And it'll eventually just drop it. It'll override it. It's just like overriding on a computer, on a hard drive. You just override it.
You've mentioned that you work with record-breaking athletes,
Mhm.
world record people. And is it true, or do you believe that they can do this, simply get, measurable gains simply through mindset?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, there's some work obviously, but mindset. Tell us more.
Well, they just have to train their brain, but they have to get rid of the trauma. So I'll give you an example. Marco Cicchetto, he's a marathon runner from Kenya.
Okay.
He got recruited to the University of Alaska. So him and his cousin. His cousin committed suicide, didn't acclimate very well. And Marco attempted suicide as well and passed out in the snow for 2 days. So they had to amputate both his legs below the knees. So they built him prosthetics to walk on again, and then built him blades to run. And so they were training him in running, and they called me up and they said, Marco's doing great, but we think he's plateaued. He's not improving anymore. Do you think you can take him through the program? So I took him through the program. 9 days later, he ran in a race. It took 15 seconds per mile off his time.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
said, Marco, I didn't make you faster. Your mind had held back that energy from the trauma. Then he ran in the Boston Marathon and broke the world record, like 2 weeks later. Then ran the Chicago Marathon 2 months after that and broke his own world record by another 5 minutes and got signed by Nike.
5
He's now-
minutes.
5 minutes.
Jeez.
So he's now the world's fastest man on blades and has been for the last 6 years. And nobody's
Wow.
going to beat him.
Wow.
He's just too good. And to run on blades, you don't, it's just incredible. Like they're balancing on stilts
Yeah.
and running a marathon in
As
less
fast
than
as they can. Yeah.
fast as they can. I don't know how they do it. They're running like just over 5-minute miles.
Man, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
So there's all
is
kinds of
amazing.
examples of that, of
Wow.
people who break world records. Rob Killian, he worked with me on Friday. He was running in the Spartan World Championships, the World Championships for Spartan, and he wasn't favored to win. There were 3 guys that were winning all the races, and he wasn't one of them. I
Wow.
worked with him on Friday. He ran in the world marathon, or he ran in the world championships on Sunday and beat them all. And
This
So
next
that's
Sunday?
why
day,
you. So that's why you didn't have time to listen to an episode of the
no, it
show.
wasn't this Sunday. That was
Okay.
previous. But I've worked with, Spartan racers, professional athletes, people like that, and they all have another gear and they all have more energy,
What does
and they
that mean
just
for the
don't.
professional, though? I get what it means for the sport athlete, but there's got to be people like me sitting here saying, yeah, I mean, do I have another gear as a professional? What does another gear look like? Am I going to break the engine with this other gear?
Yeah, a lot of people, and again, people who aren't athletes, they can still combine this in how well are you performing in your day-to-day business. So you're making X number of dollars, right? You could make more money if you can learn how to focus and concentrate better. And it's not necessarily a big out, with athletes, it's measured in performance that way. But for the regular person, they're going to perform at a different level and they don't even notice it. So I always tell people to write down what you're noticing is different. And what they see is businesses growing, doing better. And that's very simply how it works.
Yeah, relationships better, probably,
Well,
everything
I had
better.
a guy, this is a great example. I had a guy who was he was a TV personality. They brought him in as an expert on TV shows to provide his expertise. So he said, and he was on Fox and everywhere. He says he wanted to perform better. So that's what he came in for. But while he was in, he told me about all this trauma he had. And he was also in the middle of a nasty divorce. He says, I'm going through this divorce. It's very nasty. He says, I'm not looking forward to going through it. I'm in mediation right now. And so he went through the program, and he emailed me and called me back, and he says his performance is off the charts. People are saying he was good before, so obviously you have to be on
Yeah,
TV.
right.
So his performance was good before, but he was now able to get in. It took him a while to warm up. He got into it right away. And
Wow.
so then he called me the night before the mediation and he said, I've got the mediation tomorrow. He says, like, any last minute advice? He says, because this is going to be a nasty divorce. So I told him, just be yourself, just relax and do what I taught you how to do. So he called me up the next day and he says, can you meet with my wife and myself? And I said, okay, why? And he said, I couldn't figure out one reason why I was divorcing her.
Stop it.
Yeah. He says, I love her. My trauma was affecting him and he was taking it out on her. And so they battled. And so that he
Wow.
thought was the end of the divorce. He sat in the divorce and was going, why am I divorcing her? Like,
Wow.
and they're back together.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Wow.
those are all the little things that show up,
Yeah.
that
It's amazing.
change your life. Yeah.
It's amazing. And we're already at time. I'm like, where are you presenting next? Because I'm just going to go sit and listen
Yeah.
or
Where,
wherever.
where can our audience reach out to you? What's the best ways to get a hold of you, to hire you, all that great stuff?
Yeah, they just go to either Inspired Performance Institute, which is inspired with the D Performance Institute, or gettip.com. And they can look at, we have a number of different ways of working with us. They can come one-on-one and work with me here, or they can do our online program. And the online program for people who can't get in or whatever, they can do the online program and it takes them through the same program. It's me teaching it, but they just do it on modules.
Awesome. Well,
Wonderful.
guys,
I
thank
love
you,
it.
Dr. Woods. We really appreciate the knowledge. Thank you for being a guest.
Yeah.
Stick around. We've got a couple of other segments to talk about, but we're going to lean right into what we learn.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Ron, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, the mind is, I want to say a mind's a terrible thing to waste, right? I don't know why, but your mind is the most powerful machine computer out there. We need to be able to, when it's not working well, we have to get professional help to fix what the glitch is, right? And all these, as well as all these symptoms right, of the trauma. We're solving symptoms. We need to solve the trauma, right? And so, yeah, the whole thing was great.
Yeah, it's great. I know I want to do this. I'm going to. He'll be here. You'll be hearing from me, Dr. Wood. That's a
Okay.
promise, not a threat. To promise.
Sign her
But
up quick.
this is amazing. And to me, there were so many wonderful little pieces.
Yeah.
But the mind is survival based. Mic drop. That to me is such I love quick snippets like that, and that's such a beautiful one. It's survival based. That's all it's trying to do is protect us. We hold on to it. So the second one was the unconscious mind lives in the present and doesn't really know time. And then the conscious mind is time based. So it brings everything back. It remembers everything. Is that how I said it? Is that right? Did I say that
Well,
right?
the conscious mind uses reason and logic. The subconscious holds memory.
Holds memory. That's what it was.
Yep.
Subconscious.
But the conscious mind operates in the present. So it sees things, or the subconscious operates in the present. The conscious mind uses reason and logic, but can think of yesterday and tomorrow.
That's it.
One of the things I'm also thinking about is, how I raise my child and how our listeners are raising their children. What really also stuck with the emotional concussions that we've received as kids growing up in the 70s, 80s, stuff like that.
Every kid
right?
ever.
Every kid.
I just did a program focusing on parents, on what we can teach our children.
Yep.
And so it's an online program, and you learn between the ages of 0 and 7, the children are literal. They're the same as our subconscious. So they take in everything literally. And so you may not realize that your child's affected by it, but they're affected by it. They don't say anything, they just absorb it.
Yeah. I talk a lot about sarcasm with I used to teach, and watching people be sarcastic with little kids. I was like, they don't understand your humor. Like, please stop. They cannot, their brain doesn't work that way. Please stop. Your sarcasm is not funny. First of all, it's not funny ever, but whatever. Okay. That's wonderful.
A whole other topic.
I know, but thank you so much, Dr. Wood. That was great. That was great.
Well, hold on, audience. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe and review Grow My Accounting Practice. And also feel free to share with us what you learned, what you liked about this episode as well.
I love it. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. And the next little section is we have some trippy questions, Dr. Wood. This one, I feel like you both probably have a good answer to this. Ron has a very strong, long marriage. So the question is, what is the secret to having a good marriage?
I've been married since I was 19.
Wow.
And to the same person. And the secret to it is communication. We've argued, but we've never raised our voice. Wow. And we've never talked with disrespect. So we never said anything that could hurt and you couldn't take back. Nice. So I've at times, affected her, and she's not been happy with me, but she's never ever tried to tear me down.
Nice.
Right? So she'll let me know she's upset, but we always communicate. And it may not be right away, but it'll be communication. So it's respect is the biggest thing.
Yep. I love it. Thank you.
Respect. And also, we always make sure we kiss each other goodnight, no matter what. And if you can end on a good kiss goodnight, that helps.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're going to bed angry, not kissing your wife goodnight or husband goodnight, that's a problem in my world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And mine is humor. I try to make him laugh every day. He tries to make me laugh every day. So I think it's all sort of the same part of it, right? Communication, respect.
Yeah, it's all communication.
Appreciation. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, Ron, I hear it. I hear your lightsaber.
Yeah. This is called Inside Access, something that we do here that maybe you can do with your organization. And we do a lot of unique things over here at Profit First Professionals. But one of the things is that, we bring in outside guests to our membership so that they can learn things that are outside of the Profit First professional world. So an example would be us to invite Dr. Woods to speak with some of our, elite members. Okay. Now I'm sharing this with you because whether you're running an accounting firm or not, how great would it be to, gather your customers, bring them into a webinar hosted by Dr. Woods. So there's a lot of things we can do as business owners to not only help our staff, but to help our customers that are outside of the scope of traditional service deliveries. Okay. So we do it. Maybe you want to consider bringing in an outside expert to work with your customers on different facets of the business.
Excellent. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. Thank you, Mr. Saharian. I appreciate you. Thank you, listeners.
Don't forget to review and subscribe to the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. What else do they need to do, Liz?
Excellent. If you would like to learn more about becoming a Profit First professional, I encourage you to go to www.profitfirstprofessionals.com. Click on the Become a Member button. That'll route you to answer a few questions and have a conversation with Ron or with me, and we'll learn a little bit about your business, see if we can help you perform a little bit at a different level than you are right now. See if you're a right fit for us. So profitfirstprofessionals.com. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.